What's going on, my lovely people? I'm SystemCheck66. Welcome back to the channel. It's been a while, but I've been sort of contemplating what I should do when it comes to Resident Evil Requiem. I didn't want to keep pumping out videos. Everybody keeps doing that. I wanted to do one video that just covers everything that we've seen from trailers, which, you know, there's been some, some stuff that's trickled out, and then there's stuff that we're still not sure about, and it's being kept tightly behind closed doors, and not lots trickled out, except for those leaks from, Dusk Golem and all the other various Resident Evil channels that have sprung up and cover these leaks and stuff. Hey, it gets views, you do you, grift how you grift, but personally I gave that up a long time ago. But a lot of the leaks that he has talked about regarding the game are like Leon's going to be in the game. I mean, now this could be true. It could be true. I will say one thing. He covered leaks on this game, but he didn't actually reveal that it was going to be in a burnt-out Raccoon City, destroyed Raccoon City, or that Grace Ashcroft would be like the main protagonist of the game, and she was the daughter of Alyssa, quite a prominent character in Resident Evil lore. She's from Outbreak, for those not familiar with who Alyssa is, and she survived Raccoon City. So, yeah, I think that if he was a genuine leaker, he would have leaked that. He would have leaked those things specifically, definitely. But either way, could Leon be in the game? Yeah, definitely. There has been a leak, and I'm not really covering the leak. I don't want to cover the leak, but it hints at a costume for Leon. It was from it said it's believed to be from the Portuguese Capcom website, and it covers the collector's edition that's going to be coming out, and it's like a Resident Evil 6 costume for Leon. That's all I will say. I don't want to say that this is gospel and this is fact, because it could be literally doctored, this document, but things are leaning more towards Leon being in the game. And also apparently someone at IGN, or it was a different publication that I can't remember, but they slipped up during a live feed, and I think they hinted that Leon would be in the game. So, is he going to be in the game? It's a high possibility that he could be. Am I excited that Leon S. Kennedy is going to be back in the game? I am. I do like the original core cast. I would have liked to see Jill Valentine, but, I got my fix of her in Dead Island, which is super fun. I actually liked it better than Vendetta. I think the Resident Evil CG films are a lot of fun. Do they go against, how I feel about the series as an OG veteran of the series? Yes, definitely. But these are films, and even though they're really cheesy and just over the top, we're talking Resident Evil 6 levels of over the top, I still enjoy them. I still like them. And, I think they handled Jill well and stuff like that in Dead Island. But I got my fix of Jill in that film, and it kind of takes place after everything else at Resident Evil 5 when she appeared in that. So, I've got a handle on what she's been doing since then, but I would love to see her in another game, another entry in the series. As it is, I think that the one who they will probably choose and who is in the game would be Leon. And the reason I laughed at that is because he's literally been in Resident Evil 2 Remake, Resident Evil 4 Remake, and, he is Capcom's poster child. He's Resident Evil's poster child, and it is a bit annoying. It is a bit please just, Chris didn't. I think they did Chris dirty in Village. Definitely, he didn't really have that big of a role. He was more behind the scenes, like Solid Snake is in Metal Gear Solid 2, or at least Raiden's parts. So I saw what they were going for, but it just didn't. It didn't work for me. I will say that. And maybe Leon's going to have a similar role in Requiem if he is in this game. But at the same time, it's just give some characters a little bit more shine. Have Billy come back or something. I don't know, Carlos, whoever. But we don't need to keep running with, Leon S. Kennedy sort of being the star of the films, the CG films, and then being the star of the remakes, and also being the star of the OG games as well. He is quite a prominent character within the Resident Evil series, and I think that maybe just having someone else come back would be cool. But am I really that bothered he'd be in the game? No, I'm not. I do like Leon as a character. I do. I'm not a Leon hater. Like, I don't actually mind if he does come back. And it would make sense. He works for the government, and Grace works for the FBI. And so, you know, it goes in tandem. And yeah, it would make sense, definitely. It would make sense that he would be the main sort of protagonist to head to Raccoon City. So yeah, it's interesting. It could tie in really well as well, because Grace could go missing and then Leon sent to find her. You know, so we have a kind of like Ashley Graham sort of situation. But yeah, you know, I'm not that bothered that he'd be in the game. I'm quite happy. Sort of like to play as Leon, you know, in Requiem. But I just would have wanted, if it is true, if the leaks are true, I would have wanted maybe a different character, like Carlos or another Raccoon survivor. I also get it narratively. It's going to make a lot more sense for him to be within these events happening. So I'm sure everything's going to be revealed anyway during the game show that's coming up soon. You know, there'll be some things that revealed, and I think maybe Leon will get revealed if he is in the game, so we'll have to see. Now we get to the meat and potatoes of that latest trailer and the stuff that was revealed during it. We get an Umbrella logo, a look at an Umbrella logo. Obviously, being set in Raccoon City, there's going to be a lot of Umbrella logos floating around and stuff left by Umbrella, stuff that didn't get destroyed. I think it is the hospital, maybe, that's shown. Like, the logo is adorning the walls of the hospital that Grace is trapped in with that huge, you know, Lisa Trevor looking monster. It has been confirmed that that is not Lisa Trevor. The developers of the game have said it's not Lisa Trevor. The director of the game has said it's not Lisa Trevor. So who could it be? Could be Alyssa, definitely. Transformed. We'll have to see. Or it could be a completely random person that got transformed into this bioweapon. Who knows? All I know is that monster's pretty creepy, definitely, and I get Lisa Trevor vibes off of it, just a much larger. In the trailer, we also see like this, you know, this woman like banging her head against a glass mirror, and she's definitely infected. Like, I think she's infected with whatever strain of virus is in this, and she's sort of turning into this like rage zombie that is featured a little bit later in the trailer. We get to see like a good look at sort of like one of the zombies, and it's almost like a rage infected zombie as opposed to the slower ones that are in you know, the Resident Evil 2 remake or the OG games. So that's interesting. Like, how did I feel about the design of that zombie? I'm gonna be honest and say that I wasn't the biggest fan of it. I think it looks a little bit lame, I'm not gonna lie. I think after Resident Evil 2 remake just came correct with the zombie designs and how amazing they looked. Like, they look so good in the RE2 and 3 remakes. Like, the skin's just falling off. Like, we're talking classic zombies and stuff. And the designs are incredible. And I think, like, and they did a good job with the Plagas. And I think what they're trying to do here is mix the Plagas with the zombies, which they've done countless times. And I don't think it works. There was definitely like a zoom in on the zombie's face that I watched in one sort of like trailer coverage video, and he had sort of like just yellow eyes and stuff. It just looked a bit like, if you watch it, obviously the video that's playing will be sort of like that new trailer from Requiem. I don't know, do you agree with me? Like, it just doesn't, they don't look that scary, like they don't look that great, but it could be the early signs of infection, and maybe they do mutate and they change in some ways, so it's interesting. And also there is like a lady in sort of like a white dress, and she's all like just fucked up and, you know, moving weird and stuff, and her hair's like really scraggly and that. And I think that maybe this virus changes people into sort of different varieties of zombies. Who knows, maybe we'll have like a screamer type zombie that if you're detected and you get caught, she calls those other zombies to you. I don't know, I'm spitballing here. I have no clue and no idea how they're going to handle the zombies in this game. I just want them to handle them right. That's what I want. And to be honest, I think that Nakanishi, who's directing the game, he also worked on RE7 and he worked on Revelations 1. And I love the ooze designs in Revelations. I love those enemies. And in Resident Evil 7, I thought that all the enemies, the molded and the bakers and also the giant bugs that you do come across, were great. I love the designs of them. So, you know, I know there wasn't too much diversity in terms of enemies in RE7, but the ones they did do, they did right. So I've got faith in Nakanishi pulling this off, you know, and surprising us. But for now, the zombie design I did see a little bit disappointing. During the trailer, we see that Grace is searching for something that her mother hid behind, like a painting, I think before she died. The trailers and stuff that we've seen of kind of the beginning moments of the game, I think that part takes place then. And Grace is now retracing her steps back to the hotel. Obviously we know all this, but she's looking for whatever the hell her mother hid behind that painting. So we're going to have like a little bit of a detective kind of story going on as well, which I really like. If anyone remembers the OG Resident Evil and the ending screen, when it tallies up all your points, it says, "Congratulations, you cracked the case," you know, if you get like the good ending. And I love that. So this is like a little callback, but in a big way to that, you know. And we're going to get this like detective story where she's just going around searching for clues and, you know, all typical Resident Evil stuff, but I like that it's going back to its roots. I love that. So very, very excited for this game. I'm very excited. I'd also like to point out the gun that Grace is aiming at the zombie and fires. It's like a revolver of some kind, and I think it was shown a while back that it's kind of like this really cool revolver she gets her hands on. So obviously we're going to get tons of weapons. You've got third person and first person perspective as well. So, you know, they're really going all out with this. During the trailer, we also see a guy that's laying on like this gurney, and they look infected. And it looks like they're being experimented on. And also, during the trailer, we get to see sort of outlines and a look at what I believe are scientists, definitely. So I think we're going to get like either videotapes, because this is Nakanishi we're talking about, and he used videotapes to also sort of tell the story in Resident Evil 7 and explain what had happened to Mia, which I thought was cool. So maybe we're going to get a similar thing to that in this. Maybe she checks some CCTV cameras, I don't know, you know, but it's going to have like some flashback scenes, definitely, because it's showing like these doctors and stuff, and then this dude who's been experimented on this table. I will say, however, though, it could also be taking place in the present, definitely, and, you know, these people are being experimented on in an irradiated Raccoon City, and that would be really cool as well. So who knows? There's obviously a lot of quick flashes, and there's a character that Grace is standing in front of. I have no idea who that is. You just see the back of her, but yeah, they're keeping her sort of like a secret until we play the game, so, or at least until the next trailer. For now, all we know is there's a hospital that we get to explore, and also a hotel, the hotel that Grace and Alyssa were staying at. And then as Grace grows up, obviously Alyssa is dead. She goes back to the hotel to search for clues as to why her mother was murdered. And then from there, I'm guessing she travels to the hospital in Raccoon City. It's definitely in Raccoon City, 100%. Because it had all the Umbrella logos adorning the wall. Well, it had that Umbrella logo adorning a part of the wall. I believe anyway, I think that's where it's from. But yeah, it's obviously owned by Umbrella, it must be. Has to be. We know Grace gets her hands on a really cool sort of revolver type gun. We know that Lisa Trevor sort of looking type monster is a stalker enemy, definitely. So, and all that stuff takes place, you know, in the hospital. And we kind of have a hint that Grace's blood holds like the key to something. It's either got an antivirus within it, because, you know, Alyssa would have stolen some when she escaped Raccoon City. I think it was called the Daylight antivirus. Quote me if I'm wrong, but yeah, I think it was called that. And I think that my theory is she injected it into Grace's blood so it would protect her from any viruses, you know, as it's an antivirus. That's what I believe, and that's why I think she's so important to this game and this story. But I want to touch upon the two main villains. The guy who's sort of like hooded, he apparently, the team at Capcom have said that he's a completely new character to the series, so he's been created for this story and for this game alone, so that's interesting. He's definitely like a right-hand man, definitely, and he reminds me a little bit of Ruvik from Evil Within. I think they were kind of going for that style, you know, that look, and he's that sort of antagonist a little bit. Like, it just reminds me of Ruvik at the end of the day, so I wouldn't be surprised if they, you know, they got like inspiration from Evil Within. It's a Shinji Mikami directed game. you know. So yeah, but the other guy, the other guy during the trailer or thing or whatever, the infected thing that we see during the trailer, who still retains cognitive abilities, much like Wesker and Alex Wesker and all these other like villains who have injected viruses into themselves and still retained their intelligence. With him, he is just gross looking. Like I love the design of him. It just looks like he's experimented on himself like so many times, and just he's ended up looking like that. Truly creepy, and the voice is really creepy as well. And he does say to Grace, I'm guessing that's his voice, he says, you're important, or it's somewhere along the lines of that. He says you're important, and I think that ties back to her blood having the antivirus, and he wants it for whatever reason, to maybe synthesize a virus or add on to an existing virus, maybe the virus in this this game and this plot. But a lot of people are speculating and saying that it could be Brandon Bailey. Now, I'm not too familiar with Brandon Bailey, I'll be honest. I remember reading notes in Lucas's lab, and a lot of it was sort of like redacted and covered up, so my memory is a bit sparse when it comes to sort of what they said. But a lot of people said that Brandon Bailey was revealed in those notes, and he's a former Umbrella employee who was also James Marcus's protege, which is very, very interesting. And he actually worked on the progenitor virus and helped create it. But then he basically left Umbrella and he created the Connections. So he is actually the leader of the Connections. And I'd say it's a high possibility that this guy, this thing, whatever he is Brandon Bailey, definitely. So that would be really cool if they actually sort of bring the Connection storyline into everything as well, which I don't see why not. They've been hinted and teased for 2 games running. So it'd be good to finally get like a look at who the Connections are. Now, the other speculation is that this is going to be Leon Kennedy's final game, and it's going to actually round up the storyline, the Umbrella storyline, just basically the main canon of Resident Evil. It's going to wrap it all up. And then after that, I don't know where they're going to go. Village was such a departure from the storyline and stuff. It almost felt like a completely different game within a different series. So yeah, I would think that they would just veer far left after this and do whatever they want to do, and we'll see how that turns out. But yeah, for now, very interesting. The new trailer did reveal quite a bit, even though it was short, and yeah, I loved it. It was great. It's got me hyped. It's got me excited for Requiem. So we'll just have to see when the next trailer pops, and also we haven't got long to wait. February it's coming out, so yeah, it's definitely a day one for me. Unless reviews come out and say it's god awful, which I doubt, because I have faith in Nakanishi, definitely. I like Resident Evil 7 and I like Revelations 1. I think they're both good entries into the series and the franchise. But that's about all the news I can cover, really, because I actually respect Capcom for keeping their cards close to their chest. I really like the fact they haven't revealed too much. And everybody can keep speculating, and that's just fine. But the leaks and stuff, like Dust Golem and these channels just pushing these flipping leaks all the time. Even Capcom have got fed up with it, to be honest with you. They've gone on record and in a statement of saying like we're really kind of sick of these fake leaks, the fact that they're way off. Other than Leon being in the game, I don't see hardly any of the leaks actually being close to true, and I guess Brandon Bailey being the main antagonist, which is a given really, because it's going back to Raccoon City and he was a major part of Umbrella. He helped create the progenitor virus and stuff like that, and the progenitor is going to be featured in this, but like a mutation of it, who knows. Yeah, those two kind of, but the Brandon Bailey thing is more of a speculation than a leak, because it hasn't been leaked. The Leon Kennedy thing is more of a leak, but it's a highly possible leak, so that's why I've covered it here. The rest of it is just ridiculous. And to be honest, a lot of us within the Resident Evil community, the fan base, are getting a bit tired of this like grifting that Golem and the others keep doing, and these channels are doing. Like, I just see them pop up all the time, and it's just boring to me. I'm like, until some actual news comes out, you've got Capcom even sort of going on record saying, can you like stop? It's getting a bit ridiculous, and it is a bit ridiculous. So I'd just like to stick with the concrete, information and news that comes out, and that's what I'm doing on my channel. rather than covering something that could be completely false and bullshit. Like, Leon might not even be in this game, to be honest with you. You know, we're talking about a director that created Resident Evil 7 and had like 0 characters other than Chris Redfield from previous games in that game and in that story. You know, so it's very possible that he could literally have made Grace as a protagonist and then have a completely different character joining her, or just have it from her perspective. It could just be her as the main protagonist. We just don't know until something concrete comes out. Is Leon in the game? Most definitely. He is. But at the same time, I'm covering myself by saying, yeah, he might not be. You know, he might not be. So yeah. Either way, I think Grace is a cool looking character and I'm excited to play as her. Like, I think she might be one of the best new characters to come along in a long time. So yeah, I like the fact she's a bit nerdy, a bit geeky, not really a field agent. And this is like her first assignment in the field. Yeah, I love all that. I think that's great. She's going to toughen up a little bit as the game progresses and the story progresses, because she's going to go through some shit, as we've seen. So yeah, I already like her as a protagonist. I think she's cool, way better than Ethan, definitely. So we'll have to see. But until next time, I'm SystemCheck66. I will keep you guys updated with any more Resident Evil Requiem news as it comes out. Until then, I'm SystemCheck66 and I'm signing out of here. Have a good day.